And I'm muted. I'm unmuted. We are live. Oh, Sean, will you get us our livations? We have,
Yeah, let me go grab 'em.
they're beautiful. So it is Tuesday evening, and we are going to be covering some of my absolute favorite neighborhoods in all of coastal Virginia. We have Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Williamsburg, and tonight is sponsored. We're not really sponsored, but hopefully sponsored. Maybe sometime soon. Here we go. Center it up there. Coastal cocktails. Let me pull my face out. I was trying to focus on the face. Coastal cocktails. So if you are a fan of the Orange Crush actually originated here in the Virginia Beach area. And Tarnished Truth down here at the bottom is there we go. Boom. Tarnished Truth is a local distillery, and they make some of their own, I believe, gin and vodka and bourbon. Yeah. And so tonight we are going to be drinking something from them, and Sean's got his, I've got mine, so we're going to put them in the Yeti holder, the Yeti cooler. There we go. So cheers. Thank you for showing up tonight.
Cheers, Dan.
Yep, here we go. Go across the room there. Bink. Delicious. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are live, if you're not live, or you're watching the recording, you're welcome to put this down in the comments as well. Please let us know where you're coming from, which area are you here local. We've had people, I said if my cough is over with, and then I do that. We've had people from Switzerland. We've had some people from Germany. We've had people from Australia. We've had some people that are moving from the West Coast on San Diego. Some people from Texas, Colorado, Seattle, all over the nation and the world who are looking at moving to coastal Virginia and making this place home, even if that's temporarily. We get a lot of those temporary stays because we're a large military family, a large military town. It caters to it. There are VA discounts for just about everything, and people are used to having the military be a regular part of their life. There are I Love Jet Noise stickers that exist here. And we are also a highly attractive market for people who vacation here for the beach. And so the coastal Virginia area, if we are exploring what that looks like, let me pull this up real quick. Go to the maps. If we're exploring the coastal Virginia area, I'm including this section right here, a little bit of this section. However, we kind of see ourselves separate from here. But I live here in Norfolk. We probably eventually at some point will move out to Virginia Beach. We eventually are looking at buying a place on the water sometime in our future. And when we're doing our move up. And then we've lived in South Virginia Beach. I have plenty of friends that live out in Chesapeake. I've had listings that I've taken all the way out here in Franklin, and I have shown homes way up here in northern Gloucester and sold some homes out here in Williamsburg. And so this is the Hampton Roads area, and that it covers quite a bit. A little under 2 million people total. And there are lovely luxury neighborhoods. Now I have some on my slideshow that I'm gonna go through and kind of tell you a little bit more of the ins and outs of there, but I'm probably gonna at the end point out a few more. As we go through tonight, if you have any questions whatsoever, please put them down in the chat. Sean will be moderating and he will store them up. If he finds that they're applicable in the moment, he'll probably bring them up so that I can address them quickly. Otherwise, at the end, we will cover as many questions as possible, and it will go as long as there are questions. If we run out of questions early, then we'll close up on time and just cover the luxury neighborhoods that are my favorite. And if we have lots and lots of questions, we'll keep going until we can try to get them all answered. All right. Ready to roll, Mr. Sean?
Let's do it.
Let me get another little sip here. I'm giving away the answers here.
I got you.
Okay. Uh-oh. Are you seeing this?
We got it.
We're good?
Wrong screen. Flop them.
Do this. Did that work?
That worked.
Sweet. All right. So Dan's favorite luxury neighborhoods. And what we'll kind of do is we'll try to swap out here and show you a few examples from each one of these neighborhoods, just some houses that I think are indicative of that individual neighborhood. First and foremost, so kind of like what we're going to be covering. I put best food in here because I'm hoping that myself and Sean can off the cuff come up with a few best food pieces. Today was a very busy day, so I didn't get to spend as much time into the PowerPoint as I'd like to, and because we actually do practice the buying and selling and investing in real estate as a active part of our business. So sometimes the fun things like putting together PowerPoints don't always get the full attention. But what is luxury? And depending on what you're like, if you're in the middle of the Midwest in Indiana, if you're in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia, if you are in New York, that's going to look very different. If you're in Miami, some of these marketplaces, warrant and have in some places of California 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100 million listings. I think the most expensive listing I saw, Sean, recently was with Ryan Serhant up in New York, and there's this massive place way up on a skyscraper at $250 million. Wow. $250 million. That is a different price point for sure. I don't know if I'll ever be in that price point. That is a very particular type of client that can afford that type of thing. But luxury tends to be 2 to 3 times the price point of average. And our average price point in our area is about $330,000, $340,000, $350,000. So luxury kind of breaks in somewhere in that $600,000-$700,000 range, $650,000, $700,000. But it goes up higher. We do have some listings in our area or our space that have sold in the $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 million range. There's an active listing right now in the north end of Virginia Beach at $12 million, held by the notorious, extremely great agent Susan Pender, who I am hoping that I can emulate her career path. I've been very impressed with what she's done. She's never actually met me, but probably doesn't remember meeting me. Met her once, and then I've heard a lot about her. Anyway, so I'm looking at breaking into that space myself. If we haven't released the luxury tour that we did, have we yet? On Thursday. So we did a luxury tour on a place down in Sandbridge. It is technically under contract and set to close at $2.3 million. And we are hoping that the content that we are putting together and the amount of effort that we're putting into our listing tours will pay off in spades and bring us more clients in that space. So lifestyle in the luxury space can look very, very, very different. You've got people who are first generation wealth. They're just getting into it. They probably grew up either on the lower, like poor, lower middle class. First generation wealth, which I believe at the latest statistics I read was something like 83% of all millionaires are first generation wealth, which is pretty amazing, and speaks to, I think, the opportunities that America can provide. The ability to do that within one generation is pretty amazing. And in the last several years, there actually have been more millionaires made in the last 5 years than I think. I remember the statistic was something like there's more millionaires in the last 5 years. 2/3 of all the millionaires made were made in the last 5 to 10 years. Meaning there's just that many people that have come into millionaire status. And so they're looking for a lifestyle, whether that's waterfront properties, whether that's access to the best golf courses, living on a golf course, large homes, homes that are extremely well, touch pointed and built out, things like Wolf and Viking and Sub-Zero. And I forget the name of the Italian manufacturer, but there is I think we were talking about this last time, Sean, that we were together. There is a Italian manufacturer of ovens that I think it was like $200,000 for an oven. I mean, you got to really like cooking if you're getting into that. And so we're going to kind of cover some of the neighborhoods that I think at least start into the luxury lifestyles of what if you're coming to the coastal Virginia area. Uh-oh, what did I do? Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, there you go. 2 to 3, kind of 650 to a million plus. Now, one of the things that's really interesting is turnover tends to be lower. And if you don't know what turnover means, turnover literally is translated like how many homes per year end up selling. So 2 to 5%. If you have 100 homes in a neighborhood, it means that 2 to 5 of them sell per year. 2 to 5%, 2 to 5% of 100. So average turnover tends to be in 7, 8, 9, 10 range. It can be very high above that. But like it tends to be lower turnover. These are properties that people tend to buy. It is their forever home, or ends up staying in a family, or they end up buying it and staying in it for many, many years. So one of my absolute favorite places in the area is East Beach. In East Beach, Sean, they can see my face, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, I'm staring at a screen, so it feels kind of weird.
Been looking right at you.
Oh boy, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll get another.
Yeah, I just made you big, so now you get full screen for your sip.
Appreciate that. It is carbonated, so I might have a belch here in a minute. East Beach, there's a bunch of different reasons. Sean, I don't know if is there a way for you to bring up some of the B-roll that we have for East Beach?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe even just the East Beach drone tour. I think that might be a really good way to put something in the background there. I adore East Beach. I think mostly because I just think it's beautiful. One of the downsides of East Beach is that the lot lines tend to be a little tighter, a little closer than I think a lot of people who want space from their neighbors. But it is based off of a new urbanism style of planning. The same planners as Seaside in Florida, Anders Duaney. I might be butchering his name. I hope not. But is kind of the originators of that concept and that building style. It is making it human centric. It's very walkable, very beautiful. Lots of shared green space, and it's human centric or walk centric versus car centric. And East Beach embodies that. Very, very walkable. The sidewalks tend to be pretty far away from the area that you drive. Parking is done a little differently. You have back alleyways so that the owners can get into the carriage houses and get their specific parking, but then they have parking in front of the house, so if you have guests coming over. The parking in front of the houses is like pea gravel, which is absolutely gorgeous. There's no fake shutters in this neighborhood. Not allowed. If you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you may have seen me make fun of that a few times. Just fake shutters drive me absolutely bonkers, especially with the shutter. Even if it was real, wouldn't actually cover the window that it's designed to, like mimic that it's supposed to cover. It just drives me absolutely bonkers. So not only is it not functional, it's not functional. It couldn't be functional if it was real. So, but yeah, you're not allowed to have fake shutters in here. Hardy plank is something that's very, very normal. Higher end touches on things like decking and roofing and that type of thing. It's a very beautiful neighborhood. What are they looking at right now, Sean? Oh, what a guy. You know, Ben, cheers to you, my friend. Ben is first and foremost a friend, and his brother-in-law, and then also a client. Ben, if you're still watching, I don't know if you just popped in, popped out, but how long ago did you buy your place? Was it 2 years ago or 1 year ago? 2 years, man. He bought it. I'm sure he's wonderful human and talented man in his field of work. Musician and cool. Love you, Ben. But he's over there close to East Beach. He's not very far from there. A lot of that's right. They used to rent a carriage house, right? Yeah. So a lot of people will buy the homes, and then they will use the carriage house either to rent to someone. You're not allowed to do short-term rentals in there. It's against the bylaws for the neighborhood. But you are allowed to rent that out or save it for guests. I know quite a few people that have family and friends come and stay with them, or they provide them a temporary place to stay. That's super, super common. They have a wide variety of building styles in there: condos, townhomes, row homes, single family. It really the average for the neighborhood for the last 2 years, I think, was 630,000, and single family basically starts around. Like around $700,000. Really, it starts probably around 500. But that's like small, like 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, small. One of the things you just have to recognize that when they're building out this neighborhood, This was not intended to be McMansion style, where you have just lots of space. Every room is supposed to be right-sized, and they have created it to be more like a ornate space or more beautiful space than just big space. But you'll have some larger homes in there. There are some single-family homes along the water that are up to 6,000-7,000 square foot. There are the marina cottages, which Stephen Alexander built in there not too long ago. Beautiful little cottages, and they're gorgeous. Most of this is going to be new construction, and when I say mostly newer construction, you have some stuff in the early 2000s, mid and late 2000s, but mostly built out in the last 20 years. The other thing I think I'd love about East Beach, kind of at the new urbanism thing, is that you have a lot of shops that are in there. You have Cova Brewing, which is across the street, and the beach there is pretty exceptional. They have riprap, what are those things, wave breaks. Is that what those are called? Basically big boulders out there to stop the waves from eroding the sand. Yeah, those things. Which work great because not only are you on kind of the Chesapeake Bay side of the ocean, so you still get the saltiness of the water there, but because it is on the north side instead of this the east-facing side, your waves are much smaller. So if you have young children, it's just a really nice place to take. Or if you have dogs that like jumping in the water, it's another place that they can safely jump in and have a lot of fun. I could go on East Beach a lot, just because it's probably one of my favorite neighborhoods altogether. But as you can see on screen, it's just a beautiful area to be. All right, next one. And actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this real quick. I'll just see if I can do this as fast as humanly possible. Residential. We're going to look at pending and sold for the last 6 months. And let's just look over here and pull into East Beach.
We have Jamie Hunt, who lives in
Hey, is she on?
East Beach. Yeah,
Well, Jamie bought an East Beach.
that's what she said.
We won't show where, but it is a lovely area. Sean, you said you had some of the B-roll up there on screen, right?
Yeah, right now we're looking at your.
Yeah, so let's just go in here and I'm going to scroll through quite a few. So let's see, we'll start something. Here's something that's pending at 505. 2 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,600 square foot. It's not very big, but 505 pending. It looks probably it's going to be sold. You can just see there's a lot of architectural details here, a lot of craftsman kind of inspiration, shiplap, board and batten, lots of overhangs, rafter tails. I mean, the architectural touches throughout here are just very pretty. But you can see even 2 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,600 square foot. This is not a massive kitchen, but everything's done well. These are real hardwood floors. The granite, the cabinets are lovely wood. There's no MDF in there. All of the trim around, you have crown in just about every single room. It really is like all these nice built-in closet pieces rather than those metal wire hangers that you see in most of them. For the most part, you're just going to see piece after piece, little detail after little detail in these homes that are just absolutely beautiful. And you can see this is a shared wall right here with a small garage. You get little things like this. Stuff like you don't tend to see this in a lot of neighborhoods where in the neighborhood, in the shared space, you have some Adirondack chairs and a fire pit. It's just really cool. And the old live oak trees are just absolutely gorgeous. Well, our drone photography is way better than that, so we're just going to go past there. That's a really good example. Let's look at one more real quick. Let's go over here. Let's pick out. Let's see here. Here's $1 million option. Let's see here. Listed for $1,050,000, sold at $990,000, and it was 4 bedroom. It looks like 2 en suites and 4 half baths, and then 2,700 square foot, built in 2004. But here's kind of my point. Some of these ornate pieces along here. This is hardy plank along the side. Nice, large, deep front porch. The second floor has a deep porch that you can hang out on it. Lots of green space on the front here. Real pavers leading up to the house. Really nice wood decking there in the front. And just beautiful details throughout. Lots of built-ins. Look at that gorgeous kitchen. Real hardwood floors. I mean, that's pretty reminiscent of a luxury home. I love that. This style, Sean, right here of the tile. That's one of my favorites.
That herringbone, is that what you call it?
I think that might be slightly different. Herringbone typically is, it's stacked up like this. It looks, and they usually have longer tiles. I guess it might be a sideways herringbone, I guess, if you're looking at it that way. Someone who is a designer right now is rolling and saying, Dan, you're an idiot. It's this. That farmhouse sink, the gorgeous large walk-in pantry. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of quick to, crown molding around the tray ceiling. Just really nice touch there. Just beautiful. Huge closet. Look at that. Gorgeous. All right, and then just to kind of show you exactly where this is at, boom, right? And so you can kind of see here's this little shared green space with like a walkable. They hold the farmer's market right here, and then they've got tennis courts and a kids' playground right here. I'll move on, otherwise I'm going to spend too much time on each individual neighborhood. So we are in East Beach. Pull this back up. Next one we're going to look at is Lagomar. And Lagomar is in Virginia Beach. One of the reasons I absolutely love it is an extremely tight-knit community. I've had 3 clients buy in that neighborhood, and every single one of them loves it. Every single one. There are 3 general sections of Lagomar. You have kind of the older section, the middle section, and the brand new section. And the older section was built out mostly through the 70s, 80s, and 90s. You have some early 2000s, 2010s, and then you have some new construction going on in that neighborhood. The average for this neighborhood, because there are only single-family homes, is $780,000. You're going to see that it ranges from about 2,500 square foot. Probably, give me a second. Not that would help at
I
all.
was gonna say the swig of alcohol, of course, helps.
7.5%. It's a little guy. 2,500 square foot to 5,000 square foot. You're not generally going to see too many homes bigger than that. This is kind of the range for the neighborhood, with the sweet spot probably being around 3,500 to 4,000 square foot. A couple of reasons I really like this neighborhood. Highly walkable. Lots of old growth trees in the older section. It is everyone there pays a high attention to taking care of their property. You're going to see homes that are just dilapidated and let go. You're very close to the ocean front, and you're also probably just about as equally far to Sandbridge. So if you wanted to hop down to a section of beach that is, not necessarily as crowded from tourists, Sandbridge is a great option. You have plenty of shopping right there in the Red Mill area. Some of the highest rated public school systems in the area that people actively seek out. And yet you're still not very far from like Lynn Haven Mall if you want to do like Dave and Buster's and do some of the more basic attractions, or Apex down from Town Center really isn't that far away. And then you still have Hilltop, which is some of the highest end shopping. It's all really within a short period, short drive. And if you don't have to drive to Norfolk or Chesapeake or over the tunnels or bridges, this is a really fantastic neighborhood. Now, I don't have enough time to go over all of these, but there are 2 or 3 or 4 neighborhoods that are probably from the mid 500s all the way up to the $1 million range. That are just surrounding Lagomar that are also going to be fantastic options, and similar kind of amenities and touch points. So let me go over here to kind of just show you on the map where Lagomar is at. Do we have any Lagomar, Sean?
Very little.
All right, so Lagomar-ish is, you can kind of see here on the map, there's this kind of like darker section. This is the older section that was developed from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Then this is the second section that was kind of built out in the kind of broad terms, 2000s-ish. And then here's the newer section with most of the newer construction going on right here. And so just kind of give you a sense of what this looks like, we'll go here and hit the street view. Of course, it's 2007. That's not very helpful. See what by the way, if you don't know this, you can go up here and hit, see date, and you can see which date is latest, actually. There you go. I don't know why I had 2007 up. And you can see the several dates. Some of these have like stuff going back from like 2005 all the way, and you have 5 and 7 and 9 and 11 and 18. Some of these sections of the neighborhood have, what's the word I'm looking for, Sean? I'm looking for, nope, that's not what I'm trying to do. We want to go, nope, we want to go this way. Okay. Some of these parts of the neighborhood have sidewalks, and some of them do not. But lots of old growth trees. You have a good mixture of architectural styles in this neighborhood. You'll see a lot of brick ranches. Some of them will be colonial style homes with vinyl, and some of them without vinyl, some upgraded to wood or hardy plank. And as we're heading back here into towards the newer section of the neighborhood, like you can see, that one's under construction there. Let me keep going, keep going. You'll see that these lots are rather large. And I bet you if we were driving here, say somewhere between 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, you would see people out walking their dogs, or the kids on the bikes. It is just a very friendly and neighborly neighborhood.
It's a neighborly neighborhood.
It's a neighborly neighborhood. Oh, check out, that's an interesting Suburban with 2 sets of rear wheels. Let me going back and into, we'll see, it's a little bit further, and you'll see kind of, boom, we're going into the section that's a slightly newer here. So we kind of cross this little path right here. But you can see, boom, we're immediately heading into kind of some newer styles of architecture. The trees aren't quite as mature, if you will. But
where does them make mansions?
well, yeah, and then so let's back out here, and then I need to reorient myself here. Boom. And then we go over here into this section. Actually, one of my good friends lives over in this section. And you'll see this is more, I don't like using this term because it feels like derogatory in a certain sense, because someone loves this style of house. I don't. This is not my style of home.
Dan is not that person.
It's not for me. But a lot of people love this style of home. Also because it's full brick and low maintenance. And so a lot of this was built out and it's full brick. You're going to see very few vinyl siding homes in here. And as you'll notice, for whatever reason, when they built this neighborhood out, I think they have it in the brand new section, there's no sidewalks. But if we were driving through here, again, at 5, 6 o'clock at night, you will see everyone out and about. Here's a sidewalk. I lied. There's one right there. Let me go over here to the slightly newer section, which is right here. And you can, so there you go, boom, there's hardy plank with some slightly newer style of houses. You can kind of see these are basically what they call traditional style homes, but it kind of reminiscent of newer architectures. And boom, for whatever reason, you can see sidewalks. Ooh, I bet you, Sean, that right there. Yeah, it looks like a Stephen Alexander home to me. I bet you if we looked it up, it would be. Stephen, if you're watching, which you probably are, Mr. Quick, you were probably not watching this, but he's one of my builder bromances. I just think he does exceptionally good work, and he has such a good eye towards of beauty. So, all right, let me zoom out here. So that's Lagomar. Again, you have plenty of shopping right in here. You go north and you've got Hilltop, you've got the main beach, you've got Sandbridge here, and you're really not that far from town center. And like I said, if you don't have to go to Norfolk or Chesapeake or go over a tunnel or go through a tunnel or over a bridge, this is a fantastic section. One of the other pieces here that's kind of nice is you can see this is Oceana. You're going to avoid the majority. It's not that you won't hear jets, but the majority of entry and exit of Oceana is right here, right? So is funny enough, this is some of the nicest section of real estate in all of Hampton Roads, and yet they're on the flight path. But that has not deterred people from living there. Sean, how are you doing on time?
8:30.
Oh boy, I need to speed up.
We're only through 2.
Well, these are some of my favorites, so it's worth going through. Next is exactly one of those neighborhoods that's on. It is, and arguably, Bird Neck Point may be one of the most beautiful neighborhoods, period. Our last one is a good contender, but because most of the houses in this neighborhood are either on a golf course or on the water, or both in some scenarios, and it's just beautiful. It is a beautiful neighborhood, probably some of the lowest turnover in all of the area. I want to say that out of the last 3 years when I checked, it was like 2.7%, like extremely, extremely low. People tend to buy in here and they tend to hold it forever. Single family, the average for the last three years, right? Not and when I pull from 3 years, you have to realize over the last 2 years, 2.5 years, we have seen 10, 20, 30% appreciation. But the last 3 years, $1.7 million. This is not a first time homebuyer neighborhood by any means. It is one of the most beautiful golf courses in the area. It has a a marina with a yacht club at the end that hosts weddings. They have fantastic food. They have a really, really nice pool. Our kids did a swim competition there, and we were lucky enough to hold the finals there. It was a fantastic venue. And the neighborhood is just gorgeous. The lots tend to be absolutely huge, and the houses tend to be just as incredible. The lowest that it has sold in there in the last couple of years is really in the 700s, and it needed work. Like all the bathrooms and kitchens were dated and or needed to be updated, and the exterior was needing some love, and it probably needed a new roof. But that's how desirable this neighborhood is that the houses that need love start at $700,000. And then there was one that sold in here this last year. I don't know if we have pictures of it, Sean. They've kind of taken them down. It's not uncommon of pictures to be scrubbed in these higher price points after they've sold. Actually, I found a place where I can find them, but we'll not put it on the live video here. But it sold at $10.3 million. Gorgeous home. Brand new, so it's 12,000 square feet. The entire 12,000 square
pride
foot.
of ownership is definitely a thing here.
Buckingham slate roof.
And
that is not
the
cheap.
architecture of the homes are just gorgeous.
Yeah, it is a incredible
Outside
home.
of
The backyard
the
and
Cove
pool
Point
is
condos,
something
which are-
like you would find at a high-end resort. Just an incredible home. The guy who we actually had interesting when we were shooting the video for Bird Neck Point. So we have a YouTube video on this neighborhood. We were out there and we were doing some drone work, and the guy walked out on this and said, "Hey, could you get me some drone footage of my house?" We're like, "Sure, we'll get you some drone footage of your house." And it was the guy that sold this home the year prior, because it took him, I think, 2 years, or it might have been even longer, to get that entire construction done. The entry, do you have the entry shot of like the compass on the floor?
I don't.
Oh, man.
Pull it up, though. Let me see.
If you can, it's pretty neat. It's got this massive inlaid compass on the floor. It's just incredible. The kitchen island was probably as big as this room. I mean, it was just it was really, really incredible. But mostly this neighborhood is built out in the 50s and 70s. And then you have new construction. So people either go through and they renovate and keep these older homes and renovate them, or they rip them down and they put down a brand new construction house. You have homes as small as 2,000 square foot, and then you have something like that $10 million house that sold at 12,000 square foot. And then you've got the Cavalier Golf and Yacht Club, which is part of this neighborhood. So let me kind of give you an overview of this neighborhood. If we're going in, there's really only two kind of main entrances to this neighborhood. And that is Cardinal Road, and I think it's Oriole. Yep, Oriole Drive right here. And you can literally drive by it without even knowing it's there. And as you can kind of see here on the map, you have homes that either are on the golf course, on the water, and sometimes both. Just incredible neighborhood. Absolutely gorgeous. And that $10 million home sold is this one right here. Right there. Absolutely gorgeous. Incredible neighborhood. I think our top luxury houses YouTube video features that house as the thumbnail. It's pretty incredible. And so, look how close you are to the ocean front. If you wanted to grab a golf cart and be able to go, it might be a little hard getting down here, but you could. Most people don't. Most people who want to have a golf cart and go down to the beach really probably live here in Bay Colony. But yeah, you've got access to, just look at the size of these boats down here at the end. Incredible neighborhood. Really, it's probably one of my favorites when it comes to beauty. All right, next one. You showed that one really nice house. We'll leave that be. Next one is just going to be the north end. Go figure. It is a neighborhood that's really close to this. And the reason for that is because it's the nicest strip of beach, period, end of sentence, in all of Virginia Beach. You might be able to argue that Sandbridge is nice.
What's that? Hold your Tongue.
But it's a totally different style. Totally different style. Sandbridge has lots of places that are on piers, or the bottom floor is just for parking or some storage. This area, for the most part, is pretty much a lot of it is out of the flood zone, but you're right next to the water. Gorgeous. This is not, by the way, a photo of that. This is stock footage that PowerPoint gave me. The barrier to entry into this area, and this includes condos and some townhomes and homes that need love, is $500,000. The average for the last year for the entirety of North End was a little over $1 million. That's average. You've got probably a good bulk. Some of the nicest homes in the neighborhood are going to be between 2, 3, 4 million. And then you've got some pretty exceptional properties, 7, 8, 9, 10, and there's one right now at 12 million that's listed today on the market. There really isn't an average in this neighborhood for a couple of reasons. There are some homes in here that were built in the 1920s, old farm homes that houses that have been there and just renovated and taken care of. And then there's still plenty of new construction going on in the North End. There isn't really an average when it comes to square footage, because you've got some homes that are under 1,000 square foot, old little cottages that have been there forever and passed down or sold. And someone just, they, instead of ripping it down, they live in it. And we're live stream. You want to say hi to the folks, the people? You don't have to get on camera. You can say hi. My lovely wife and local lender, Rachel Inman, is here. I don't know if I want to share with you. Do you want one of these? You sure? All right. I didn't really want to, but I felt obligated, if I'm honest. So there really isn't an average. You have some really small homes that are under 1,000 square foot. You've got some condos and townhomes that are under 1,000 square foot. The average, probably the sweet spot, is somewhere between 2,500 and 4,000. But then that $12 million home is 8,000 square foot. There's some really big homes in here. This is a really exceptional stretch of beach. One of the things that's kind of unique here is because the majority of it, there are no what's the word? Gated. There's no gated community here, and so one of the ways that they've kind of gotten around keeping people from just swarming the public streets there and blocking the locals is the locals have taken their driveways and expanded them 3, 4, 5 car lengths wide. And since you're not allowed to park in the driveway, it's sometimes very, very difficult to find a parking spot if you're a local that doesn't live in the park there on the beach. There's still some public places and some places that you can park, but it's just challenging, and it's this normal contention piece of private
building your online business
and how to access it.
But go to Wix.com and set up your
beautiful.
store on a single integrated
and then if you're into
platform.
surfing, I would say a lot of people try to go surfing
Add
in
products.
this area. You're
Showcase
right next
them
to.
dynamically.
Let me pull up the map
seamless.
here. You're right next to First Landing. So this right here, this stretch right here, you can see where it says Northern Beaches, is all the way down to there and all the way up here. It's about 3,500 homes. It's quite a few homes in this stretch, and you are either oceanfront or First Landing State Park. You can see here, I think it's 64th Street. Yep, 64th Street. And there's a back entrance into First Landing where you can go and drop in kayaks, and there's a boat ramp in here. And not everybody knows about that, but most of the locals do. And then you've got the east section and the west section split right down the middle between Atlantic Avenue. And then you've got Atlantic Avenue, I don't know. Do they call it major and minor, Sean? Do you know? I've lived here long enough. I should probably know that. I've always called it minor. What have you called it?
Major.
Major and minor?
Yeah.
You have? Okay. That's what I've called it. So you have the old Atlantic Avenue and the new Atlantic Avenue. And this section right here, going almost all the way down, is mostly people on bikes and golf carts and that type of thing. You'll see a ton of people with golf carts who will come across, park it here at the end, and use the public access to go down to the beach. And then you can see all of the seagrass here. And then you've got a mixture of homes, like I was trying to say, is you probably have these homes right here that are ranging between 1.5 and 4 million. And then you've got this monster monster home, which has like 3 lots side by side that they just have never sold, and it's a huge property. So it's probably 3 right there, and then that's a separate property right there. And you'll see a lot of this. One of the other things that you have to just understand with the north end is, unless you are grandfathered in, there is no short-term rental here. So do not anticipate or expect to come in here and buy something and be able to do short-term rentals. The locals fight it pretty hard. They just don't want to have party houses right next to their house. And because half of it is retirees and people that are permanent, and the other half are people who are using it for second homes that, whether we like it or not, can afford basically to buy it without having to offset the cost with rentals. That you get a lot of people in here that fight that short-term rental thing. And plus, you're going to be competing with the main ocean strip here. And because you're competing with the main ocean strip, you have the Hotels Association, which is also going to be fighting it pretty heavily. Well, Flipper McCoys. Boom. Couple things that I also like about the north end here. When you're towards this section, you're going to hear more jet noise, but as you get further and further north, you're going to hear less of it. And then you're next to 2 great golf courses, actually 3, because if you're going to count this one, 4 if you're going to count Bayville. You've got quite a few golf courses within 10, 15, 20-minute drive. If you really want to go very far, you can see that like the best shopping or the high-end shopping is right here. I went not that long ago to the Village Butcher Shop, and I picked up a tomahawk steak that I'm gonna eat here sometime soon. I bought it a little bit too early. My birthday is on March 17th for the people at home, and so I get to celebrate my birthday here soon. But you got Trader Joe's, Whole Foods Market right here. You've got the aquarium. I mean, this is just a really, really special place to live. And a shout out to my boy, Andrew. Where is your coffee shop here? Let me point him out. Give him a shout out. Let the people know about him. Perked Up Cafe, right here. That great place. And then you've also got right next door, Smart Mouth Brewing House. Fantastic. Cool. All right, on to the next one. We don't really have time to dive into some of the listings there. Otherwise, we're going to be here forever. Do we have 5? Let's see here. East Beach, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, cool. The Governor's Land. Now, this is one, if I can admit that I am a real estate agent with 7 years of experience, but I'm still learning about different areas, and my area still to this day. You got 2 million people, and we've got a 45-minute drive that we can go to nearly everywhere. You getting your second one then, Sean? I'm barely through mine. I've been talking the entire time.
I'm just getting it out too because I want to explode.
But when I said there's one to rival in beauty, now we're pretty far north here. So we're going to go up here all the way up to Williamsburg. Now, like I said, I've sold a couple of homes up here, but I have not sold any homes in the Governor's Land. And this is just a super gorgeous, cool area. You're way up here in the James River, and just right here on the bend of the James River and I'm going to mispronounce this, Chickahominy. Is that how that's pronounced? Do you know?
I think so.
Chickahominy.
Chickahominy.
Chickahominy. If you know the pronunciation.
Yes, Dan
Please.
just mispronounced
Yeah.
the word pronunciation.
Yes, pronunciation. Feel free to call me out. But a beautiful golf course. Actually, Sean, there's the most renowned golf course in our area is down here. What's it called again? Kingsmill. Like the tour plays here. Like it's exceptional. But this is really cool. Both of these are cool neighborhoods, but I only have talent for so many. But one of the things I like about specifically this neighborhood, one, you have a ton of homes right here on the golf course and or on the water, and the lot sizes are huge. Lots of old growth trees. So just kind of let's see if it give you an example. Just a beautiful, beautiful area, beautiful neighborhood. Feels very spread out, laid out. This is a gated community. If you're looking for something where you have little extra safety, security, exclusivity, this is a pretty exceptional place to be. Oh, this is a really good view right here. Let me go down to the end. Oh, wrong direction. And then you've got we've got the country club right down here at the end, tennis courts, the marina. I mean, this is just absolutely beautiful. Let's see if I can grab this. Have this good street view. Oh well, it's kind of the sun is not doing a. Go figure. That it's made for just basic information, not necessarily being the most beautiful photography, but just monster homes. So I guess the point I was trying to make here is the nice thing about this in particular is these homes, in comparison to Virginia Beach, are almost I don't want to say this, a bargain. Meaning, you take this home and you put it on a golf course, you put it on the river, and you go some other places in the nation, and these homes are $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8 million. The average for this neighborhood is nowhere near that. The governor's land average is 900, mostly between 800 and 2 million. And so if you're looking for a place to retire, a gated community where you can still raise a family, access to some great trails, access to a wonderful marina, and a very specific type of lifestyle, that is hard to beat the Governor's Land or Kings Mill. I'll throw the Kings Mill in there. They're both really, really exceptional neighborhoods. There was a house I think we looked at, Sean, that was like $3 million. That was something that, to me, you put that in Colorado, it's like 15. It was crazy, the level of construction and the touch points that were in that house. Now, this neighborhood is mostly built out in the mid to late 90s, and then new construction, 3,000 square foot to 7,000 square foot, and then you have golf and marina. Sean, do we have any questions?
No. Question free today.
Question free since 8:43. Let me go over here and pick out a few just to kind of show you what I mean by this, the Governor's Land. Map, zoom out. Let's delete. Stop it. There we go. Delete. And let's go over here to the Governor's Land. Do we have anybody tuned in right now?
There's 5 of you out there. If you
5
have
of
any
us.
questions,
If you have any
let us
questions,
know.
yeah. Boom, 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 boom. And so let's look at like this one's pending. 4-bedroom, 3 en suites, 1 half bath. Whoop. Just messed that up. Come back over here.
About $650.
Yeah, 3,500 square foot for $650,000, and just a really beautiful
I
grand
think what might
home.
be good, Dan, is maybe pull up a side by side with Bird Neck Point in this, and just kind of show the difference. Because I bet you're bargaining even in Bird Neck Point, you'd be a bargain up in here.
Yeah, so like that's a great point, Sean. So this at 650, being in this condition, you take this and you put it in Bird Neck Point, and you add $1 million.
Yeah. Wow.
And so let me look at another one real quick. Let me pull up. Let's see here. There's 815, 4-bedroom, 3 bath, 3 full bath, 2 half bath, 3,500 square foot. Around the same square footage, probably going to be a little more updated. You got some water there. Yeah, a little more updated inside. I mean, arguably the other space is a little more grand. You get the tall double tall ceilings, the large pillars, but this is probably because it has access to water without really doing a deep dive on the pricing or seeing where it's located. But I'm looking at this and it's a really nice place. But it's because there's water right there. That's 100% why. Let me look at one of the $1 million ones real quick. So this one sold just this last year, the end of last year. So listed for 1.95. They originally listed at 2.2, overpriced it a little bit, had to come down, and then sold for 1.95. But look at that spot on the river. I mean, that is just, you got a jet ski just hanging out on your little private beach.
I say private beach.
I mean, that's gorgeous, incredible. Just that is absolutely incredible.
Wow.
Beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous home. Look at those wide plank floors. You got herringbone tile right here in the entry. Beautiful. Huge beams, built-ins all over the place. That is a grand kitchen if I've ever seen one. Beautiful, massive island. All custom cabinetry, custom panels over your refrigerator and freezer, double wide side there. I mean, it's huge. 2 ovens, plus the built-in microwave. I mean, that's just in that view. Absolutely stunning. That is incredible. Look at that.
That's your bedroom.
That's wild. Beautiful home. Beautiful home. You take this, right? So 5,400 square foot, add $1 or $2 million into Bird Neck Point, easy. So as long as, I mean, if you don't have to be right next to the ocean front and you're willing to drive, I would say
Probably about an hour.
about an hour, to the ocean front to go to experience that. It's not that you don't have access to water, and arguably, like if you want to do jet skiing and boating and kayaking, paddle boarding, like fishing, like this is probably, it's going to be much more still. You worry less about like storms here than you do down here, and you can still drive here.
A lot less tourism.
Yeah, basically no tourism because you're in a gated community. Yeah. So let me go over here real quick and show you. Pull up Bird Neck Point real quick. Let's just clear and do a new one. Pending and sold for the last. Let's look for the last 3 years here. Do. Boom, 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 boom. Pew. All right, let's look at 1.7, 1.7. Yeah, here's a good point, right? Trying to find one that is not like the crazy one. Yeah, this might be a good example right here. Yeah. So here's a really good example. Pretty close on the same square footage, 5,000 square foot. Sold for 3.5 within 12 days. Right?
Wow.
Great view, great spot on the water, very grand. Holy moly, grand home. Lots of like trim details. Lots of built-ins. That's gorgeous. Well done there.
I'd say it's pretty comparable though.
Yeah, but yeah, I would agree. It's super comparable in the sense of like this might be a little bit more grand, but some of this is architectural style and what you kind of prefer the house to look like. But when we're looking at square footage and bedrooms and bathrooms, again, style. It has custom cabinetry in, custom panels over the refrigerator, massive island. Lots of custom touch points throughout this entire house.
Ugly island.
You don't like that? Sean does not like the island.
It's like a
This is another thing that when it comes into luxury homes is wallpaper. This is very, very subjective.
Yeah.
Very subjective. I've seen wallpaper that I personally have liked. I've also seen it where I hate it. But someone is going to love this and someone's going to hate it. But I guarantee you when they put this in there, that was not an inexpensive option to have that done. Gorgeous hand-scraped wood floors, marble custom, looks like 1 foot, maybe, there might be 2 foot tiles in there. It's kind of hard to tell. I'm going to guess 1 foot tiles. But, this is what 3.5 million gets you in Bird Neck Point. I mean, look at that the exterior space here. This is
wow.
pretty incredible. Cool. I don't want to go on if no one aren't any questions. Really, when it comes to luxury homes, just as you're kind of looking, your contingency period, you want it to be a little bit longer. I had a story of I have a client that I went and showed the house. Funny enough, Sean. So here's a funny story for you. The house that I showed recently to a client of mine, they bought that 305 Seascape Road.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah. So I was talking to the listing agent because I was representing the buyers, and we're going through and looking at the home. I said, "Oh, where's the seller going?" They're like, "Oh, place down in Sandbridge." I said, "Oh, where in Sandbridge?" It's like, I think we sold for about 2.3, and it's like, "Was it Seascape Road?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "I just finished up the listing tour on that." She goes, "Really?" So she showed it to her clients. They thought it was really cool. Drops on Thursday. So make sure to take a look at it. We put a lot of effort and work into that one. But the main reason they were moving is because when they moved here, they were under the impression that this house had deep water access. And because they did not do their due diligence or waive their contingency period, when they moved in at low tide, they found out it's only a foot deep. Well, it's kind of hard to have a 2 or 3 foot deep boat that's in the water if it's sitting in the mud at the end of the day on low tide. And so quite frustrated. And so the most expensive part of real estate is selling of real estate. And so when you're looking at buying luxury homes, you want to make sure that you're taking your time a little bit. Your contingency period's a little bit longer. You're hiring someone who has good resources for a good dock and pier riprap person who's going to go in there and inspect those, because these repairs are not inexpensive. If you're in this price point, you probably know this already. But luxury homes are sort of like luxury cars. The more you let them go, the more expensive it becomes to bring them back up to par. You have a whole bunch of brick that needs to be pointed up and redone and has a foundation issue. It's very expensive to fix. You have a crawl space issue. It becomes very expensive to fix. You have a water leak that goes unnoticed. It's very expensive to fix. So everything is a little bit more pricey, and you want to make sure that you're catching that early and before you take on all of those obligations and problems for yourself. All right. Well, I hope this was entertaining. Or maybe I just rambled on. It was completely worthless. But if you have any questions, there should be a link down in the description to grab some time with us. Let me go and do boom. Oh, that's not what I was trying to do. How do I get rid of this, Sean? Like that? Boom. All right, perfect. So there should be a link down in the description if you want to spend time talking about, hey, Dan, my budget's $600,000 to $700,000. I'd love to hear about, because this is important to us. This school district's important to us. Having access to these things is important to us. Newer construction, older construction. I want a home with character. Let's hop on a call and talk about what that might look like. I prefer that we have that conversation earlier rather than later. Partially because if we can talk a year before you're going to move here, we can get an idea of a dozen different neighborhoods. You can come here for vacation for 2 or 3 days, go drive those, see exactly which ones you think are the best. Gives you a chance to potentially talk to the school headmaster or the local PTA board. Get a sense of what that neighborhood feels like at night, and take the dog for a walk or go for a bike ride with the kids or something along those lines. Maybe rent there for a year, and then, because if we're going to make a purchase at $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 plus, we want to make sure that we're buying in a place that we can live for a very long period of time. I want you to make a wise financial decision. So please click that link below down in the description, and until next time, see ya.
See you guys.